What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers, and break down what's happening with the overall market this far, what the option is suggesting for SPY, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks, and this offer ends in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, now we're going to break down what's happening to the market. So, if you look at the way the market's moving, right, you can see that SPY has actually invalidated this head and shoulders, and now we're holding up very, very well because after the economic data came out, we just saw this big pump once again. So, with the bullish case playing out, I think that this implies there's going to likely be a temporary squeeze like move on SPY as we have these imbalances to fill. And I think that with more data coming out, there might be volatility for the first 15 and 30 minutes, but there is more upside potential looking at the charts. So, what happened today? We basically had some important data. Today's Friday, May 3rd, 2024. And don't forget that an hour before the market has opened, some data came out. The unemployment rate was 3.9%. This is a little bit harder than expected. Non-farm payrolls were 175,000. This is below expectations. The labor force participation rate was 62.7%, aligned with expectations. And then we also had other data come out, such as the non-farm payrolls that are private from that sector, also below expectations. So this data is now suggesting, and I know that the data is very biased. I wouldn't necessarily fully trust everything 100%, but I'm just trying to say that this data does suggest that there's contraction in the labor market. The market's responding more positively to this because it could actually be more positive for disinflation. And this is what the market was essentially expecting. Now, with that happening, there are two other things to be noting. At 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the S&P Global Composite PMI and Services PMI coming out. So look for more volatility at 9:45. And then at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we also have more data coming out. We have the ISM Services PMI, ISM Services Employment and New Orders and Prices. New orders and prices will be very important for future projections for inflation, and we'll see what this causes. So look for volatility for the first 15 minutes and 30 minutes of market open, and we'll see what happens after that. On top of all of this, I just wanted to mention that we've been waiting for data. The data has come out, and this has helped the market pump so far. When it comes to the April job report, we're actually showing signs that once again hiring is at a brisk pace. This is happening, excuse me, amidst the higher rates right now. So that's very important. Apple did not have the best earnings overall. I wanted to note that. So their earnings alone were not that great. Revenue was down just a little bit, and they also are expecting lower iPhone sales. However, they offset all of this, even though their earnings are not the best. They're kind of like so overall from what I saw. Some things are not that great, but they ended up announcing the biggest buyback ever, which helped the share price explode. And this helped carry the markets higher. That's the first big factor. We have $110 billion share of shares repurchased. That's once again bullish news. That's why Apple exploded. This is helping the market pump. Some more news involves what's happening with Paramount's future, as we're starting to see other companies get involved, and we're starting to see a lot of changes when it comes to the leadership in the company. Not going to talk too much about that. And there's a lot of talk about competition amongst big tech when it comes to AI development. I'm seeing that on the headlines, but nothing too crazy overall. Now, when it comes to other pieces of news, Hershey's just announced its earnings. They ended up doing very, very well, in my opinion. They had a nice increase of 8.9% in their consolidated net sales. We also saw their net income up about 36.5%, with EPS up 3.7%. The full year outlook is as expected, meeting expectations, and that's actually not bad whatsoever. Good, I would say decent guidance and good earnings is good for the share price. For the option chain for SPY for May 3rd, which is today, we have a 1.87 puts to call ratio. We have over 420,000 calls expiring, and we have over 790,000 puts expiring. So the majority of positions are in puts. Most people are betting the market's going to sink, and that's part of why the market's up. We might see this actually lead to a possible squeeze, or at least more potential upside. And for Tesla, there's news that came out that the NHTSA has ended their probe on Tesla, at least one of their probes. So that's some big news for the Model X and S, something just worth noting. So what do I see for the market right now? What do I predict is going to happen? I would say watch support currently at this 510 area. If we lose this, you'll be coming down to 508. And then we have resistance at 512. Breaking that would take us all the way up towards 515. This chart looks to me like it's going to try to push all the way up towards 512.5, if not 515. So it might dip a little bit upon open. So look for a retest of the 510 area, maybe a little dip. And then when more data comes out, we're going to be looking for 512.5 as a potential target, if not 515. I see a bit more upside coming to at least 512. Then we'll see how we end up reacting from there. But look for a little bit of a dip before we start pushing even higher. I think that there is more potential in this, in my personal opinion. So watch and see if SPY ends up getting a little dip and a bounce, and we're going to be looking for a push to at least 512. And if that breaks, 515 is next. I see a bit more upside potential on SPY. For the QQQ, I see the same thing. I think that the QQQ is going to be testing this 435 area. We could dip and retest 433 before we continue higher. If we lose 433 and we fail to hold it, then look for a dip back down to 431. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think that thanks to Aapl pumping and also some more bullish news, this has the potential to go up to at least 435 and eventually 437 for a temporary pump. For Nvda is also looking kind of symmetrical to me. I think that Nvidia is going to push a little bit higher. I see potential for this to go all the way up to 885, if not 900. So look for a little bit more upside, in my personal opinion, for Nvidia. We have a nice symmetrical structure developing. I think that 885 is going to be a good target, if not 900, if that breaks. Apple's also pushing. Look for a little bit of profit taking upon open, so it might dip a little bit all the way back down towards like 184.5 or something like that. And then we could continue higher. Apple's still showing a lot of life, looking kind of strong. So look for a little dip and a potential continuation all the way up to 186.5 or higher. There is potential in this chart. Now for Tesla, red resistance at 182.5. Tesla could dip a little bit upon open to the 181.8 area, then continue higher. If it manages to break 182.5 and hold above that, we could be pushing all the way up to 185. So I see potential in Tesla. Look for a bit of a dip, then a continuation higher. There's most definitely potential, in my personal opinion. On top of all of this, when it comes to Coinbase, Coinbase is also on a very, very nice uptrend right now. I do see potential for this to go higher. Could retest 228 before it continues. I'm going to be looking for a move all the way up towards 236. For Amazon, we're going to be looking for another continuation higher. Look for a retest right here of 186.8, and then we could continue higher from there. I do see it eventually going up to 188, then 190. That's going to be a very, very good target. And I believe that Meta is going to push for 450 very soon, maybe even higher if that breaks. So look for 450, and we could go a little bit higher for now. Now the VIX is dipping. Let me just call out that the VIX is currently at 13.8. The VIX has a potential gap to fill all the way down here. So if the VIX's chart has been downtrending, and we have this big gap to fill all the way down around the 13 flat area, maybe a little bit below 13, which suggests that the market's going to push a little bit higher, causing this to dip. So for now, guys, the dollar is down, the 10-year Treasury yield is down, the VIX is down. This suggests that the market likely has a bit more upside coming. I don't think, and let me make this very clear, I'm not a perma bull. I don't think that this is going to last forever. I think that next week the market's going to form its top, at least by next week. So yes, we were going to likely dip upon open, but then look for another continuation higher potentially, and we'll see how things go, at least moving forward. But I want to make that very, very clear. I do see more upside potential temporarily, and then we'll see what happens after that. So thank you for listening, guys. Hopefully this video was insightful. We'll see how things go for the markets, and I'll be back in just a couple of hours to give you guys another update. Temporarily, I do see a squeeze coming in the market, potentially pushing higher, but things could shift by the time we get to next week. I'll make another video about that later, but until then, thank you for listening and have a great day. See you guys soon, and peace out.